Hi guys, my name is Nonima Tigela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I want us to talk about when the judge says, take me on appeal. This trial is on the edge of fairness, Kesan. Anyway, let's get into this. There are moments in court that never make it into the judgment. Moments that don't appear in transcripts. Moments that don't come with formal rulings. But moments that quietly tell you something in this trial has shifted. And in this case, the moment came when a judge faced with a legal objection about disputed evidence looked at the defense and said words to the effect of, if you are aggrieved, take me on appeal. Not, I will consider your objection. Not, I will rule shortly. Not, let me hear your argument, but instead, take me on appeal. That single sentence may become one of the most dangerous lines ever spoken in this trial. And in fact, this is one of the most repeated lines, take me to appeal, that are repeated in that courtroom of Judge Ratta. Because in South African law, that sentence is not neutral, and it may place this entire case on a collusion course because with a constitutional disaster. That is what this one does. And let's talk about what actually happened in court. Let's slow it down, Jay, and talk about it. The state was cross-examining an accused on a disputed statement. On a statement, the defense says not yet proven, possible, coerced, not yet ruled admissible, and legally contested. In other words, a statement that may not legally exist as evidence at all. Under South African law, when a statement's admissibility is disputed, the court normally conducts what's called a trial within a trial. Because the Constitution says something very simple: no accused may be forced to defend themselves against evidence that has not been lawfully admitted. No accused may be cross-examined on something that might later be ruled illegal. And no court may allow prejudicial questioning before deciding whether the evidence is even allowed. So the defense objected, right? They asked the judge to first rule on whether the statement was admissible. And that is when the judge said, if you are aggrieved, take me to appeal. That's what happened in court today. Why is that even legally, that statement alone is even legally exclusive? There is where things become very serious in court. Today was one of those. Because in South African constitutional law, a judge has three core duties: to be impartial, to be seen to be impartial, and to protect the fairness of the trial. And in the Constitutional Court has been absolutely clear. Justice must not only be done, it must be seen to be done. Then, in this Senzo case, all of those things are not there. All of those things are not there in the Senzo case. The legal test is called reasonable apprehension of bias, not actual bias, not proven corruption, but simply this: would a responsible or would a reasonable objective observer think the judge may no longer be approaching the case with an open and neutral mind? Now listen again to this sentence: if you are aggrieved, take me to appeal. Why does that say, what does that say to defense? It says, your objection does not matter. I am not interested in engaging with your legal argument. I have already made up my mind. And your only remedy is to challenge me later. That is not judicial neutrality. That is judicial finality. And worst of it all, it sends a message that the court is no longer protecting the accused's constitutional rights in real time. Instead, the judge is effectively saying, let the irregularity happen now. We'll let the appeal court fix it later. That's what Judge Rata is doing. That is not how fair trial works. That is not how it works. And then he takes everything and puts it under constitutional danger zone. Section 35 of the Constitution guarantees every accused person the right to a fair trial, the right to challenge evidence, the right to be compelled to incriminate, the right not to be compelled to incriminate themselves, and the right to exclude unlawfully obtained evidence. The moment a judge allows cross-examination on a disputed statement before ruling on its admissibility, three dangers arise. First, prejudice. Umshololo speaks on this many times than I care to count. Once the accused answer questions about the statement, the damage is done. Even if the statement is later ruled admissible, the judge has already heard it. Secondly, contamination. Judges are human. You cannot unhear prejudicial material. Thirdly, procedural unfairness. The defense is now forced to defend something that may not legally exist. South African appeal courts have repeatedly warned once unfair prejudice enters the record, the trial may already be irreparably tainted. And now add something else. The judge did not just allow the questioning, the judge dismissed the objection with a sarcastic invitation to appeal. That is where this crosses from procedural mistakes into judicial misconduct territory. Does this judge think these things are going to be forgotten? Does he? This is why this may become an appeal nightmare. And Judge Rata, I said today in all my lives, actually, is to make sure these guys go and appeal and win the case. Let me be very clear. This single exchange, if properly recorded, is gold for an appeal lawyer. Because appeal courts look at two things. Was the procedure fair? And did the judge conduct the trial in a manner consistent with impartiality? And here, the defense can argue the court failed to rule on admissibility before allowing prejudicial questioning. The court failed to protect Section 35 rights. The court displayed hostility or impatience toward the defense, which is exactly what Judge Rata does. Every opportunity he gets, he does exactly that. The court created a reasonable apprehension of bias. The court effectively told the defense their objections were irrelevant. He said that many times than I care to count. In previous South African cases, convictions have been set aside for far less. Judges have been overturned for tone, for impatience, for sarcasm, for dismissive remarks, because when a judge stops appearing neutral, the trial stops being constitutionally safe. And here is the nuclear part of it all. If the appeal court later finds that the statement was inadmissible, then every single question asked about it, every answer given, every interference, also every inference drawn becomes poison in that record. And the entire case can collapse. And now the big question is, has the court picked a side? This is the question no one wants to ask out loud, but it hangs in the air now. Why rush past admissibility? Why not rule first? Why expose the record to risk? And why tell the defense to go to appeal instead of protecting fairness now? Because when a judge starts prioritizing speed over fairness, or the state over the defense, or outcome over process, that is when trials stop being trials. Let's be very clear. They start becoming performances. Bias actela, they know exactly what they are doing. No one is saying the judge is corrupt. No one is saying the judge is biased, but the law does not require corruption. It only requires this, that a reasonable person watching this exchange might say, something is no longer balanced here. And once the perception exists, the integrity of the entire judgment is in danger. What the defense must do now, this is critical, okay? If the defense does not protect the record now, they may lose their right to complain later. They must place a formal objection on record, demand admissibility ruling, record the judge's exact words, ask the court to note the prejudice, consider a recusal application if the tone continues, because appeal courts do not fix silence, they fix transcripts. And if that sentence, if you are aggrieved to take me on appeal, is on record, then this trial now carries a ticking time bomb inside it. And that is why UMNISI was clarifying, and Judge Ratha was bold and repeated what he said. And that line alone may destroy the case in its entirety. History teaches us something brutal. Most famous miscarriages of justice do not collapse because of the evidence. They collapse because of the judge, because of one ruling, one remark, one moment when neutrality slipped. This may be one of those moments, because in a constitutional democracy, a judge does not tell a defense lawyer to take me on appeal. A judge protects the trial from ever needing an appeal. And if this case one day collapses, if convictions are overturned, if years of proceedings are wiped away, do not look first at the police, do not look first at the witnesses, look back at this moment, at this sentence, at the day the court chose speed over fairness and told the defense, take me on appeal. That is where it is now. Guys, what are your thoughts when it comes to this? I will see you on our next video. Bye-bye.